Welcome back to the Express at Ray Rickburn for a Movember kickoff party. They're spinning some tunes, they're serving food and drinks, they're offering clean shaves to get you ready for the month of the stash, and of course it's all about supporting men's health. Now you know who I think had a great mow? Burt Reynolds, yes, but also Fidel Castro. Of course there's a lot more to Cuba besides the infamous leader. It's one of the most unique places on earth, and we're discovering it today with Escapes.ca Destinations.
Escapes.ca Destinations is sponsored in part by WestJet Vacations.
Want to go on an adventure? Let me take you there. I'll give you an insider's look on where to eat, play, and stay from the expats and the experts. All this without ever leaving our own backyard. Your best tour guide is within reach. I'm Mansour, and this is Escapes.ca Destinations. Having 588 kilometers of beaches and temperatures averaging 26 degrees, it's no wonder that the Caribbean island of Cuba draws 2.5 million visitors a year. But Cuba is also well known for something other than its tropical weather, something a bit smaller. We can't get a taste of Cuba without trying one of their most famous exports, the Cuban cigar. So we've come to celebrity hotspot Revolucion Cigars and Fine Gifts, where the likes of Leonardo DiCaprio and Halle Berry have come to try their over 20 varieties of Cuban cigars.
Mana, welcome to Revolution.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to learn all about the Cubano cigars.
Yeah, and I'm happy to tell you about it too.
Paulo Agilitas opened Revolucion 6.5 years ago after he had his first cigar experience during a trip to Cuba. Right then, it was love at first puff, which drove Paulo to bring the Cuban culture back home.
We started out with probably less than half of what we have here for selection, but we kind of added this other dimension to it by increasing the selection of cigars for one, and then focusing on some of the specialty brands that Cuba has to offer in the whole cigar world.
So Paulo, you're going to teach us the basics of how to smoke a Cuban cigar, but first there's a few things we need to look for when choosing our cigar.
Exactly. What you want to do is, when you first get into smoking a cigar, look at the color and the consistency.
Okay.
Some people like to have like a lighter colored looking cigar. Other people prefer more darker. One of the first cigar plantations, factories, was actually developed in the early 1600s. So, I mean, we're talking like hundreds of years here of cultivating what is today the Cuban cigar.
Having so many cigars to choose from made selecting just one not so easy. Thankfully, Paulo showed me his top favorites.
Here is A. Chapman. It's called the number 2. It's basically a pyramid, torpedo size.
Now, if you saw this on your kitchen counter, it's not a cookie jar.
It's the Serie P number 1. And you can see the color and the consistency.
Why do people smell it back and forth this way? I see it all the time in movies. Why does this happen?
They're just trying to get, the aroma, and it's probably a little bit attributed to what they've seen in the movies, I mean, everyone wants to take a good cigar and just get a nice big smell of that,
With my cigar chosen, Paula also walked me through the different varieties of cuts that are made to a cigar before lighting it.
We've got the guillotine cut, and then I've also got a punch cut. It just takes a hole out of the top, squish it in, and then pull it out, and voila. But this cigar is ready technically for smoking.
Ready for a taste.
Yeah.
With some final words of advice.
The idea behind it is to just light it and get it going slowly.
Slowly.
Small puffs, so you're not taking a lot of smoke in.
Right.
And you're not burning the end of the cigar. Yeah.
It's very nice.
Isn't that cool?
When you're getting ready to go on your trip to Cuba, you can have one of these with a cocktail.
A special occasion, right?
Absolutely.
Special occasion. Make it a special occasion.
Paulo, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Now for your travel tip of the week.
When traveling to Cuba, be sure to bring Canadian dollars, as US dollars are not accepted. And also be sure to have 25 Cuban pesos handy for your departure, as they will charge a departure tax upon leaving the country.
Escapes.ca Destinations was sponsored in part by WestJet Vacations.
Now, still to come on our program, a chance for you to win tickets to the Ain't She Sweet event. It's a vintage fashion show plus a fundraising event for the Canadian Diabetes Association, and it happens this Sunday, November the 6th. Now, that's coming up, but right now we've got Good for You, Good for the Earth, and we're learning about cattle farming in Pitt, Meadows.
FarmFolkCityFolk.ca, Good for You, Good for our Earth, is brought to you by Farm Folk City Folk.
Hi, I'm Lori, and I'm here to share with you my passion for nutritious food and sustainable living. We'll see if these foods meet my dietitian's stamp of approval, and why these foods are not only good for you, but also good for our Earth. We're at Hopcott Farm, a family-owned and operated beef producer located in Pitt, Meadows, just a half-hour drive from Vancouver. So Bob, you grow corn, you grow cranberries, but I heard, pardon the pun, that your first love is cattle.
Yep, something I've done probably for the last 35 years.
They aren't born and bred here, actually. Where do they come from?
They come from the interior ranches of British Columbia. These are all ranches. We know the people personally. We know the background of the cattle. The huge difference to our feedlot than the huge commercial lots is we don't feed any antibiotics, or the cattle are not implanted with hormones.
So Bob, a lot of the problems that happen with really big industrialized meat producers is that there is a lot of pollution that runs off into the water. How do you get around that?
We get, of course, a lot of rain in the Fraser Valley of BC, so we make it that no manure is ever kept outside. It's either under a roof, or if we have to move it outside, it's under plastic. Like over here, it's under cover. So there's never any pollution into the water table or into the ditches. So it's something we're pretty fussy about.
So Bob, the food that we just saw that you were giving to the cows here, where is the majority of that grown?
Right on our farm. A lot of this is grass silage and corn silage, which comes right on our farm, which is within half a mile of where we're standing.
Also located just down the road is the family's meat shop, where Bob's son-in-law Lance gave us the tour.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
You too. So yeah, what we do that makes us different is that we allow the beef to come into here and age for 3 to 4 weeks. Basically, the big guys, they choose to age their beef in a box while it's traveling on the road, getting to the consumer, whereas we choose to do it the old style way back in the traditional butcher days of hanging it, eating the shrink ourselves, but giving a much tastier, tender product.
So I'm always talking to people about portion size, and Canada's Food Guide actually says a portion of meat is 2.5 ounces cooked. What would that be raw? What would a person buy when they come to your meat shop?
You'd be anywhere running, my guess would be 3.5 to 4 ounces. This is a 3.5 to 4 ounce tenderloin.
I'm very passionate about local food and good health. You're very passionate about meat. Where did that come from?
Why don't we start caring more about what we're fueling our bodies with? We seem to care where our cars are manufactured or where oil's coming from. But why aren't we concerned where our meat, where our food, where our produce is coming from? We should be. Are we going to change the world? No. Can we change our little communities? Yes, I think we can. I think we can try to eat healthier, and I think we'll have a better life, and I think we'll have a better society for it at the end of the day.
We've learned a lot about meat today, and it can be very confusing when you start to consider all the health and environmental pros and cons. I would suggest, when you're looking for meat for your next barbecue, listen to the same advice my mother gave to me about dating. Look for quality rather than quantity. For Shaw TV, I'm Lori, and this has been Good for You and Good for our Earth.
FarmFolkCityFolk.ca, Good for You, Good for our Earth, has been brought to you by Farm Folk City Folk.
The Hopcott Meat Store also carries local fruits and vegetables. You're watching The Express, and we've got your chance to win tickets to an Ivan Sayers fashion event, plus these stories coming up. Road trip gets rowdy in the Callahan Valley.
Played in the mud.
Movember changes the face of men's health. The Express, we are your local voice.
Community programming on Shaw has been generously sponsored in part by
Hairstyling and color services for Shaw TV, provided by The Lounge Hair Studio. LoungeHairStudio.com.
Welcome back to the Express at Ray Rickburn for the Movember kickoff, which is also the launch of the limited edition Tom's Movember shoes. Now, we'll be running our own Movember contest on the Express, so you can watch for details on that. We're going to give you a few weeks to grow out your stash. But we don't want you to feel empty-handed today, so we do have a giveaway right now. 2 tickets to the Ain't She Sweet event that's happening on Sunday, November the 6th. There'll be a vintage fashion show with Ivan Sayers, there'll be jazz music, and you can hang out with me for the afternoon as I'm the MC. It's all in support of the Canadian Diabetes Association. So if you'd like to go, send us an email now, theexpress@shaw.ca, and tell us why diabetes is so close to my heart. Now, it'll be fun too because we can put our fascinators on, act all posh. Since it's at Highcroft Manor, I also like to play in the mud too, don't you? Because that's what's happening on today's road trip.
Travel along with us as we explore the many marvelous attractions and activities of beautiful British Columbia on the Quality Assured Collision Road Trip.
Leaves turn golden, the chilly glow of autumn. In short, the perfect season for an adventure. Not to mention the perfect excuse for playing in the puddles.
I was not expecting a mud bath.
Fall really knows how to pack in a multi-sensory experience with ATVing here in the Callahan Valley.
Played in the mud.
Putting the all-terrain into Canadian all-terrain adventures.
I like how moist and tacky the dirt is. Just makes for fun trail riding.
The first time on an ATV left me squealing. Hosting 90% newbie riders on their tours, my guide Vince Shuley built my confidence turn by turn.
We started quite easy. We go along the main service road. Get people used to the acceleration and deceleration of the vehicle. After that, we do a bit of training in side hilling.
And then single track. Anything but a fat forestry road adventure, far from the infrastructure of Whistler Ski Resort, the Callahan Valley is truly where the wild things are.
There's a lot more exposure off the side, so there's that danger element which they enjoy as well.
And an environmental one.
This is one of my favorite areas on the tour. We're surrounded by old-growth forest here. These are somewhere between 300 and 500 years old.
A quick tutorial on flora and fauna, and we were climbing again.
It gets progressively difficult as you go through the tour, and then you're greeted with this at the top.
Oh, the mountains up here are incredible. Canadian All-Terrain Adventures offers a number of tours. Today we've taken the Wild Wild West, which is about 4 hours and lands here at the secret cabin on Sprout Lake in the incredible Alpine. In the fall, it's a beautiful place to take in the views, and in the winter, it's a wonderful place to warm up at their wood-burning stove.
Right now we're at about 5,000 feet. We've got 60K of trails or so. We've been able to expand upon what's an already existing trail network in the Callahan from years of logging, mining. We were able to turn them back into some really fun ATV trails.
Woo! Fun ATV trails that splash into childhood. Only this time round, we've got bigger toys. From Whistler, I'm Nicole Fitzgerald for The Express.
Canadian is running tours up Blackcomb Mountain these days. A great chance to enjoy the fall colors before everything is blanketed in white. The website is CanadianSnowmobile.com. What else is happening around town? Well, we've got a line on some great events with today's Express Spotlight. Support Vancouver's downtown east side this season at the Vogue Theatre. Potluck's lively fundraiser is a treasured tradition hosted by Canadian music icon Barney Bentall, joined by 2 generations of the country's finest roots and country musicians. Celebrate 25 years at the Dr. Sun Yat-sen Chinese Garden. Opening on November 8th is a children's art exhibition offering a young perspective of a Chinese garden. Join the Hyde Creek Watershed Society to celebrate the return of the salmon to their spawning grounds. Located indoors at Hyde Creek Rec Center and Hatchery in Port Coquitlam, there'll be plenty of exhibits, tours, and activities. And there'll be all kinds of events happening all Movember long. You can go to Movember.com to sign up and register as a Mo boy or a Mo girl. It's all about raising funds and awareness for and about men's health, specifically prostate cancer. We're going to leave you with more highlights from this event at Ray Rickburn. Thanks for watching The Express, only on Shaw TV.